Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Patch Notes. This is our monthly show just to catch you up with everything that's going on in the Twitch world, so you're not missing anything from all of our updates and behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. And I am here, Mary, delighted to be joined by Dan. We missed you last month. Where were you?
I know. I'm trying to remember where I was last month. I don't know where I
Yeah.
was.
Where in the world is
My
Dan
God,
Clancy is real.
I cannot keep track of where I was last month,
I do
but
not
I was
know.
not at my home. That is what I know. Um, uh, and and it's funny. Let's see, who was it that just said Petrov just said who's ready for TwitchCon? And Petrov, you're echoing my thoughts because we're going to talk later about TwitchCon, but I'm going to
We
steal a
are.
little of thunder because we've all been sitting there watching the promo for TwitchCon, and so I was like, because I'm watching the same thing you guys were as we were sitting here ready to go on. So I'm definitely ready for TwitchCon, and I loved seeing that promo over and over and over again.
Hats off to our awesome production crew and all the people who help market TwitchCon because they have been going full force to make sure you know that we've released the schedule. We will talk about that later, but we're all very excited about TwitchCon. And I believe you and I will be going. Dan, I know where you were last month. You were at La Velada.
Oh, that's where I was. That's right. Which I should talk about. That's. I knew I was somewhere where it would have been hard to do it, and
Yeah.
yes, that is exactly
Did you have fun? Tell me about La
what
Velada
I
and
was
your
doing.
experience. I know it broke viewership records, so it's obviously
Mhm.
awesome for Twitch, but what was it like being like boots on the ground there?
Yeah. So look, first of all, it's amazing what Ibai does. It's really unique to kind of be there in person. The energy is just it. There's just so much excitement about Twitch in the area. Then, um, and all over the place. It's interesting. When I was in the hotel, I'd be going in and out, and if I'm at TwitchCon, a lot of people recognize me, and I kind of expect that. But if I'm in Spain, going to La Velada and walking in and out of the hotel, I don't expect all these people to recognize me,
Mm.
just because I'm not as president and all that. But I was like, I'd walk out of the hotel and I'd have 10 pictures, and often with these 15, 16-year olds, that are just so excited about being in town, being there for La Velada, and the show was amazing. I really thought it was a lot of fun.
That's so awesome. I think it just seems so electric on the ground, and I saw some photos because we did a little cool tent. So if it is very hot during that time, and you could like you could just see the sweat in people in the audience, and so we had this little Twitch cooling off tent that you could take a photo to remember your time there, and I thought that was neat. I saw you in the cooling tent getting cool, so I'm glad you had a good time and got to experience that live. I think that's really
I
awesome, Dan.
I will say that I also became a little bit of a convert to this whole fascination that the online world has with boxing. I
Mm,
will say I've always found it a little odd that, I mean, there really is this, a lot of, and it's not just on Twitch, right? I think the influencer world really is, has this real fascination with boxing, and you even get, CEOs challenging each other to boxing matches and all that. And I always thought, why are we so caught up in boxing? And as I watched the fighters, what became so clear to me is one thing about boxing is like you train 6 months for this event, and you
mm,
train hard for 6 months for this event. Okay. And training in boxing, I like last year, I actually did some training sessions and other things, and it is really tiring. It
mm.
is really tiring, and it, works out your whole body. And you train for 6 months, and then you have 3 2-minute rounds or three. So there's
Yeah,
6 minutes after 6 months of arduous training.
and
And there's
dieting.
just and dieting, right? You're dieting, and so there's an emotional aspect that all of those contestants have been working so hard, and it's all bundled down into this one moment, and where they're just giving it their all and just pushing. And when you just watch it, you don't realize how gassed they are
Yeah.
after just 1 minute. I know when I was like a year ago, I'd do like, be doing, sparring around for 1 minute or so, and I'm in reasonably good shape. And after 1 minute, you're pretty gassed, and someone going for 3 minutes at full speed. And it really is kind of interesting the way it takes all of your emotions and attention.
Yeah. I think it's an incredible thing to witness, even on Twitch and live, and that's why it had so many viewers. So hats off to all the participants. It's a wonderful event every year, and we look forward to it every year. And it really was special. So a big tip of the hat to Ibai and all the people who make La Velada even work. It's an incredible feat. And with that, I think we should get into today's show. We have several different topics. I do want to just say, as we get into it, something that's really important for all of you to know is that we do this show for you so that you can hear a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, but also to hear from you. And so we're really interested in having you chat your questions, your comments, anything that you want so that we can address it on the show. Please use !question before your question. It just helps us find it because chat
Ask,
moves.
exclamation part, ask, Mary.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Exclamation. Well, I can't even say it. Exclamation mark ask, please. And that will help
There we
us
go.
find your question so that we can sort it. We usually answer them at the end of the show, unless Dan or I just happen to see it. And it's very important. We have to read it right then. Then maybe we'll disrupt the show and answer them as we get there. But anyway, with that, Pakjua says we need Dan Clancy in the fight for La Velada. Dan, who would you
I don't
fight?
know. By the way, I'm not conceptually opposed to it, but I think what they really need are creators in there, So the reality is, it's kind of a novelty thing. We want creators in there. That's where the real magic is. That's who their real fans are.
Conceptually, I'm a pacifist. Um, Realistically, I'm weak, and so I would not do it. But I have a lot of respect for watching other people fight. Okay, and so with that, we're going to get into our first topic, which
Hold on.
is
I
yeah.
just lost audio. I'm just seeing
Oh
if this was
no,
me.
I think it's you.
Hold on.
Oh, it's me.
Hold on
Oh,
one sec.
okay.
It
It's us. Now I lost audio. I can hear you, but I can't hear Dan.
Can you know?
I can hear you, Dan.
I'll tell you the
Oh,
story. My
risky
son
biz.
just walked into the room and he had his AirPods on, and
They connected.
Apple decided that they would rather all the audio go to the AirPods and everything, and so suddenly he was hearing it in his ears, and
Lock the
so
door.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, I've now turned off Bluetooth. I have to remember to turn off Bluetooth. Right?
I think that is such a good way to though show that the show is super duper live and we have the same issues that everybody else has when they go live,
Mhm.
including our iPhones connecting when we don't want them to. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, I'm
All
glad
right,
you have
let's
audio.
get into it.
All right, to get into it, we need Monica. So if we can bring Monica in, that would be awesome.
And let me say this, while we're bringing Monica in, I'll mention to folks, we do have extra time today, so we will be spending a little more time in some Q&A. If there are any, I encourage you to think of what I'll call larger, meaty questions about ideas and other things. Sometimes people have very specific questions, which are great to answer, and we'll be talking to some of them. But we will have some extra time in case you have kind of broader, meaty questions, so feel free to put them in. And with that, Monica, great to have you on again.
Hey,
Yay.
thanks for having me back. I'm taking this to mean that I didn't royally screw up last time I was here, so pumped.
No, not in fact, you didn't screw up at all. It wasn't just that it wasn't royally screw up. You didn't screw up one
Oh,
iota. You were great.
Dan, you just know how to build this up. And thanks.
I think it's good that you're on and you're on for something really positive and something that everybody really gets excited about. So, without further ado, our first topic is SUBtember. This is a huge, huge event. and everybody loves talking about it. Monica, please tell us everything that you can about SUBtember this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So some folks may have seen, I think it was a week ago, we announced that we are kicking off SUBtember this year on Friday, August 29th. And that will run through August 1st, or not August, sorry, October 1st. For those of you at home, you may be saying to yourself, that's not 30 days. That's right. We have 34 days of discounts. But before we get into kind of the meat of it, wanted to just extend a big thank you to our sponsor this year, Valorant. You can catch the Champions Tour Finals streaming on /Valorant from September 12th to October 5th. And I'll just jump right into the details. So
Sure, yeah. What can people
Oh,
expect?
that was me. I'm sorry. I thought Mary was asking all the questions.
Polite pause, but what can people expect all month, Monica?
Well, thank you, Mary. Yeah, so we will be offering 25% off 1 and 3 month subs, and then 30% off 6 month subs. We're also bringing back the gift sub bonus finale, which will start on September 26th. And the way that works, as you may remember from last year, for every gift sub bundle of 5, Valorant will add 1 more to the mix there, but keep an eye out because you may have the opportunity to get additional bonus gift subs along the way.
Ooh, super exciting. People always really look forward to this. I did see a question in all caps that I just couldn't ignore. Himself, Topher says, "Is there a badge?" in all caps. I don't think so. I don't think. Tell us if
there is. There is a badge. There is a badge. Everyone who participates in SUBtember this year will receive a limited time SUBtember 2025 badge.
Ooh, okay. So if you participate, you will get a limited edition badge. That is very exciting. I have another question for you from me, which is, can you tell me a little bit about the sponsorship and how the discount works? Every year, we always, especially ever since we announced shared, the ability to have shared promos and streamers can make their own promos and things like that. There's always a question of like, who is taking the brunt of this discount, right? That are streamers benefiting from all of it? You mentioned it, but tell me a little bit more. Who is like, how does this discount actually work, and how are we contributing to making sure streamers get the full amount?
All right.
Dan, I think that's a you question.
That's to me. I wasn't sure. I was like, is that a Monica or Dan? Yeah. So let me talk a little bit about that versus the other discounts that we're doing right now, right? So the difference, in again, to be clear, in SUBtember, we underwrite along with as we have a sponsor, they help us do that. We underwrite the cost of the discount, so that means more money for streamers. And to be clear, for the rest of the discounts we're doing, it's not that you're paying for it; it's that we're sharing in it. That basically the discount comes before we do the rev share. But SUBtember is not like that. And to be clear, we do get sponsors. This year we have Valorant. We really appreciate Riot's support. But there is also, they provide some support overall for SUBtember. But Twitch is also contributing, I will just say, a meaningful amount to underwrite this and to support our streamers. And so it's really a sign of us giving back and helping them in response to what their community does. And what I really love about SUBtember is you see communities really get behind supporting their streamer because they know their dollar goes further. And that's a big bump for a lot of streamers in terms of their revenue.
It is very coveted. I have a couple other questions. I also just want to give a shout out to Gerald Austria for rating. Thank you so much. ETC Fox said, "Is it the same badge as last year? Can you give us any sneak peek of what this badge is for all the badge enthusiasts out there, Monica?"
I'm not gonna ruin the surprise, but it is different than last year. I can say that.
Okay, cool. So you don't get to know, but it is different. So that is at least the answer to that question. There will be surprises throughout the month, actually, as there were last year. We do like to sprinkle in some surprise and delight throughout the month. And I can also spoil something from our end, which is we are going to do a live stream on September 2nd. And I think that's Tuesday in 2 weeks. So basically, like the second day in September, we're going to go live and we're going to be sprinkling gift subs on streamers all afternoon. So if you're thinking about going live during September, that's a good day to do it because Twitch is going to be sprinkling some gift subs anywhere they can on that date as a part of September's surprises. So more to
Monica,
come. Go ahead.
I actually do, because someone was talking about this in chat, and everybody forgive me, because sometimes I sit through enough go-to-markets that sometimes I'm like, wait, did we launch that 2 weeks ago? We're launching it 2 weeks from now. Pre-affiliate, right? And that has been launched now, correct? And so I think this
It's launched in the US.
Okay, it's launched in the US. That's what it's launched in the US. So for those people in the US, it's not just partners and affiliates, because the pre-affiliates would, benefit from SUBtember, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great call out. Yes. And we are looking to roll out the pre-affiliate program soon to the rest of the world. So if you're not, well, it won't count, or you won't be in on this September. You will be in on next. But yeah, that's a great call out. All streamers who have onboarded will be eligible to get the benefit of SUBtember.
Yep. All right, great. Well, this is always
one more thing to add.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So treasure trains, which some of you may have seen out in the wild, there are a rare type of hype train that unlocks a 35% off gift sub bundle. Typically, they unlock that discount at level 5. During September, they'll unlock at level 2, which is great. The one thing to remember, and in the interest of full transparency, is as Dan was discussing the different types of discounts we offer and how they're funded, the gift sub bundle discounts are shared, but all of the recurring sub discounts, the 1, 3, and 6 month subs, and then the gift sub bonuses that we give, those are all fully underwritten, as Dan said, but just wanted to make sure people were looking out for those treasure trains and able to have a little fun with those too.
It's great.
Okay. It's a good distinction. But treasure trains are fun, and it's nice to have them also be included, even at a lower rate. So at a hype train too. Very cool. So I hope you are all planning for what you'll do during September. It's an awesome time for streamers to plan their own content, subathons, whatever it is that you think will be good for you during this month. It's a wonderful time to be had by all. Happy September to all of you.
And by the way, part of it, Gaga Valkyrie just asked the question, is to be clear, because there's all the details of when we trigger, and a lot of folks don't understand all that. So let's just say, yes, treasure chains will be more common in September. That's the simplest way to think of it, since many folks don't understand how and when they get triggered.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that's probably worth noting is, since we recently launched streamer-led promotions, you are able to use your promotion hours during September if you want to. The only period you won't be able to use those hours is during the gift sub finale, which again starts on the 26th and runs through the end of the month. So if you are thinking about doing your own gift sub promo, make sure you get it going before the 26th of September.
All right. Well, this is exciting. All right. Are we on to our next topic?
Cool. We are. We're going to keep Monica around to chat a little bit about improved clip viewership. Dan, this first question is going to go to you. Longtime patch notes enjoyers will know that we love an experiment. Can you tell us a little bit about the new clips experiment that we're starting right now?
Yeah. So last year we launched the clip speed on mobile that made it really easy for viewers to swipe through clips to catch up, and so that when you're watching a clip, you're in a feed. You also might remember the experiment that we had done on the web, where you could go from one channel changer to another. It's called the channel changer, which we had played around with. We're basically using a similar UI for clips, so that when you land on a creator's clips feed, basically you're watching a clip, and then you can quickly go to next clip, next clip, next clip. And I was playing around with it yesterday. I actually really liked it. I find the pogoing back and forth if I'm looking at clips, it's much nicer to just go next, next, next. So this is a small experiment. We're going to see how people like it. But I know I personally, when I've used it, I've liked it. And we're looking at more ways so that when you land on a clip, you click a link to a clip, whether you're on web or mobile, you're in a feed so that it's easy to get to another clip, another clip, another clip.
I think that's great. And I've also been able to play around with this, and it's super fun and just a great way to watch multiple clips and even find new clips of creators that you're interested in. Monica, can you tell me a little bit for anyone who's new around here, not just about this experiment, but how experiments work at Twitch? I cannot tell you how many times a streamer will be like, I didn't know this was happening and my friend has it, but I don't have it. How do I get it? How do we select people for experiments like this, and what can people expect?
Yeah, it's a good question. When we're trying out new things, there are a number of ways we can release them. And then an experiment is one of them. And typically with the experiments, what we're looking to get is a random sample of viewers or streamers across Twitch. So I know it can be really hard when you see someone enjoy an experience that you're not getting your hands on. But the good news is if it's working and doing the things that we want, helping streamers grow, helping viewers find new streams to watch, helping streamers earn more money. The good news is that we will eventually roll it out to everyone. But the experiment helps us figure out, are there bugs? Are there performance issues we need to work on? Are there things that just need to be better before we put it in everybody's hands? And that's just one way we do that. You'll also probably see things like betas, open betas, closed betas. Those are just other ways that we can get information from the community, get feedback, and also see how things are performing. And the benefit of the experiment format is that it's not biased by people self-selecting into it. So we give it to a bunch of random people, they decide whether or not they like it, we get that data, and then make decisions about how to move forward.
I think that's good food for thought for anyone who sees how things work a little behind the scenes here, and a good example of why we have this show, so that you can understand we won't always roll things out to everybody. That would probably be a bad experience if you did not like it. So we're learning by these experiments, and we'll continue to do these. In fact, Dan and I say this every time we do patch notes, but we're going to continue to experiment with clips all year long. This is a huge focus for us this year. And so you can expect to see more experiments that are clips related, because it's important to us that you're having a good experience and that you're enjoying watching these clips. So I think that's really cool. I also just want to give a shout out to I Just Love Puzzles, who said that they like experiments. We love I Just Love Puzzles. Hey, Twitch, can we give I Just Love Puzzles a shout out? I just love this person. They literally just do puzzles. That's all they do on their stream. They like finish puzzles and talk to their community, and I adore them. So would love to give them a little shout out. Awesome. Anything else about clips, about experiments from Dan?
I don't think. Let me just check, because one thing I'm doing this time is I'm really keeping an eye on chat, so that when a message comes up, that I think, oh, let's make sure I put it, because we have folks doing it, but sometimes they miss one. So sometimes I see one and I put it over in a file I have to make sure that I don't think in terms of experiments. I think now we're ready to jump on to some of those other update topics we wanted to cover. Right, Mary?
Fantastic. Yes, I think that's super true. And I think that's like what this place is all about. Please, again, if you have questions about clips, this experiment, experiments in general, SUBtember, or literally anything, and I like can't say that enough, like you don't have to ask questions about what we're talking about on this show. If you have questions about like a random thing that you were thinking about that was Twitch related for like the last few weeks, you can absolutely ask that here. So you can put any question that you want about any topic, Twitch related, obviously, not unless you want to just ask about our favorite animes. I will talk about that, but try and focus it. That will help us to answer all of your Twitch related questions. And with that, Monica, we are going to say goodbye to you for now, and we'll have you back for the Q&A section. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. That was very good. I always love talking about SUBtember and clips. So a really fun show so far. But I have some tough questions for you, Dan. Are you ready for our next section?
Yes, I'm ready. I think this can be a good topic to go through. It's a complicated
Great.
topic.
It is a complicated topic. So we don't actually have like a section built for this usually in the show, but like Dan and I have been talking a little bit more about just having a place where we're like, man, people are talking about this a lot. We should probably just chat about it and have a conversation. And so we're just gonna try that on this episode. And so one of the things I've seen a lot about online on social are people talking about viewbotting. I've seen so much chatter on this, specifically on Twitter, socials. That seems to be where I'm seeing the bulk of the conversation. Some streamers would say that we're not going far enough with viewbotters, and they're like, I want more, I want them all gone, I want every viewbotter like off the service, like we need to do more. I've actually also heard in the last few weeks, when we made an announcement that we were going to do something about viewbotters, that some streamers were saying the viewbot is hurting, the viewbot detector is hurting their lurkers, real viewers, and it's affecting their numbers. And so I've seen both sides of this, and I would love for you to talk us through a little bit about Twitch's viewbot considerations and tactics, whatever you can share.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of confusion. There's some misinformation. There's various things out there that make this tricky. Uh, and it's a pretty complex and nuanced topic. Okay. So first of all, just to emphatically state, um, uh, we absolutely think it is important for us to be actively fighting viewbotting and trying to detect it and try and eliminate it. Okay. Um, uh, we recently made an announcement about a new detection algorithm we're rolling out. Now, in general, announcing changes to our algorithm is a really bad idea. Because as soon as we announce a change that we are handling viewbotting differently, that is telling all of the entities that are trying to figure out how to do it, oh, let's go figure out how to get around this. So in general, fighting viewbotting is a cat and mouse game. Okay. We did do the announcement because we felt like there was a lot of concern in the community and worried that we were not, concerned about viewbotting. And so we thought it was useful to go out and talk about us doing something. For many of the knowledgeable people, they know that then as we do something, some of these third parties then respond in different ways. Okay. And so it's an ongoing process. Okay. And we are going to continue to be, investing in what I'll say, playing that cat and mouse game and to try different avenues to detect and eliminate viewbotting, because I think it's really important to do that. Now, there are a few different angles on this. There are a lot of folks online, smaller streamers, who felt like what we were doing in detecting viewbotting was hurting them and was eliminating real viewers of theirs. Okay. First of all, I want to highlight there's this word lurkers. And to be honest, different people mean different thing by the term lurkers. Okay. I'm curious, Mary, when you use the word lurker, what do you think?
I think of someone who's watching my stream but not commenting. They're just
Right.
hanging
That's what I
out in the
think of too.
background.
That's what I think of too. Now, a lot of people use it differently sometimes. And emphatically, with that definition of lurker, which I agree completely, that's how I think it, we absolutely count people who are not chatting. It is not the case that we're only people that are chatting. That is emphatically not true. Okay.
Yeah.
Our view count system does not care whether or not you chat at all. Okay. Now, it is the fact that there's been a lot of confusion because people have looked at the chat list. Okay. And for those who don't know, you can navigate to see a list of users that are watching your channel right now. So first of all, that is a different system. It's a system that does not update in real time. Okay, it is not always updating because it's not, and it also is capped. Okay, so it caps, and after a certain amount, it does not count folks. And so it is absolutely the case that is not always matching the ACCV. For bigger streamers, it doesn't matter because they have a lot of logged out viewers, and so it's always much more. A lot of smaller streamers, all of their viewers may be logged in. That is not unusual for a streamer to have 100% of their viewers logged in. Okay. And by the way, let me say, I'm going to catch some. Lurk to me means I'm somewhat engaged with the streamer, kind of watching, mostly checking out the channel. He says that. And yes, that is
Mm.
counted, right? You do not need to activate it. And in fact, I don't love the term lurker because outside of Twitch, lurker is almost seen as pejorative. And I don't think it's pejorative at all. There's lurking is like hanging out and watching a channel and not chatting is great. I love it when people do that. Um,
Yeah.
so this chat list is just completely different. It does not update. The back end doesn't update in real time. And also the display does not update at all. You have to refresh to see it. Like it is just a point in time. Okay. Finally, there's also lots that goes into, let me now talk about other behavior. Okay. It is absolutely the case that sometimes people may open lots of channels, lots of tabs on lots of different channels. Okay, so sometimes people use the term lurker and in their mind they're thinking somebody that has 10 channels opening and they're not watching any of the 10. That is different. That is not how I interpret the term normally. Completely separate from this launch, we have always had code that looks at that to try to make sure people can't, oh, how am I going to get my whatever? I'm just going to open up 10 tabs on the same channel, or I'm going to have 10
Mm.
tabs on 10 different channels because you're not watching 10 channels. Now, I'm not going to go through the details of how we handle that because as soon as we describe the details of how we handle that, we do count when there are multiple tabs open in certain cases. We do sometimes do proportional. We do lots of stuff to try and handle this scenario because that is not the case that somebody is, actively watching the stream. There are also lots of third-party apps, okay, that you can connect to chat without watching a live video.
Mm.
Okay. If you're not watching a live video, you are not counted in the view count. Okay. I want to be clear. If you're just connected through an RN part, so you're just in chat in IRC, but you are not watching the video, then that does not count as a viewer because you're not watching the video. Okay. Trying to think, what did I not? So Mary, what questions,
Yeah,
still
I'm going to try and go through a couple things as well. I think you've covered a lot, and I recognize you are not going to go over the details of literally like how we are detecting viewbots because that helps people who are viewbotting or the companies or whatever that is doing it understand our systems. So we're not going to get too far in the weeds of how these things are done. But it is helpful just to talk about viewership and how fast chat is moving, because something else I've recognized is there's sometimes people are accusing streamers of viewbotting because they will have thousands, tens of thousands of viewers and their chat won't be moving super fast. And that's not usually the best indicator that someone is viewbotting because they might have a higher range of lurkers in that stream, especially if the content is really passive and they're not asking their chat anything or using any kind of interactive elements. And so sometimes chat is literally just observing and not commenting. So can you talk a little bit about chat moving versus like how many viewers we have and whether or not that's relevant in your opinion?
Yeah, so interestingly, one thing that we did as we were rolling this out, I also spent a fair amount of time with the team because we absolutely wanted to ensure we were not eliminating real viewers. Okay. Now, let
Mm,
me say, it does not mean that literally the detection never, ever, ever, ever eliminates what might be a real viewer. Okay.
yeah.
There's always this challenge of uh, trying to find the right balance. Okay. Because if you air it where there is 0% chance you might ever, but we did a fair amount of analysis to try and make sure that to the extent it would happen extremely rarely and in small numbers. And so we were looking at a lot of data. And in fact, one of the pieces of data that we looked to try and detect and figure out if this was working or where it wasn't working was chat velocity.
Mm,
Okay. Because we would look at the number of chat messages per average concurrent viewer. Okay. And so I sat there and looked at spreadsheet of a bunch of streamers with their chat velocity. It is absolutely the case that sometimes it is a signal that can be used with other signals, right? but there was huge variance in chat velocity, huge variance. And in many cases where we knew people were not botting. Okay, we knew emphatically this person is not botting. Okay, and for various reasons, I'm sure some of y'all can think of some of the streamers that you know they do not bot. They're outspoken on botting, and you'd still see variance in chat velocity even from stream to stream, right, or within a stream. So there's a ton of variance in chat velocity. Okay, now the other factor that I want to talk about, which is a real tricky one, is some people want us to say, well, just ban them all.
Right.
Right? If someone bots, ban them all. And in general, I don't think that is very effective at stopping this. I'm not saying there are cases where we have banned people, especially as it starts moving into ad fraud and other things. Okay. But the challenge is you need to be able to deterministically determine that the channel where the bots are occurring, the bots are coming from that creator if you're going to suspend them. So I absolutely can eliminate the bots. But if I make it that, whenever somebody gets a lot of view bots, they get suspended. Well, now you want to suspend you want to harass somebody, you're going to point a bunch of view bots their way and get them suspended. And that person's going to be sitting there. And I guarantee you, people would be doing that blatantly on our platform to try and harass people. It would become a harassment tactic. So we have to be very careful as we think about our actions. I realize there's one other thing that we didn't get to yet, which is an important part of this, which I know some folks have made some statements that are, they've made assertions with a great deal of confidence. And I was like, okay, but that
This
is
person
not
has
true.
to be viewbotting. Look at their chat, right? And like, there's been
No,
some
I have another
online.
topic. I'm going to go to another topic. That's this question of what is the impact of viewbotting? Okay. So first of all, emphatically, as we said in a post, we have a separate system that detects invalid traffic for ads. Okay. So why is it a separate system? Why don't you use the same system? When you're determining invalid traffic for ads, you don't have to do it in real time just as the thing is being pinged. We don't post ad revenue until a little bit after a stream. Right now it's 48 hours. If we detect invalid traffic, the streamer does not get paid and the advertiser does not get charged. Okay. Now, at various times, some folks have claimed, I've never heard of this system. Every major ad platform has systems like this. Every single one. Amazon has it. Google has it. Meta has it. TikTok has it. That's what you do if you run an ad platform, because if you run an ad platform, there are people that are going to be trying to defraud you. Okay. So Amazon has a fairly sophisticated system to detect this. So as we've had a viewbotting problem, it has not been affecting our advertisers. It's something that we take very seriously. And we learn from the two things. Okay. And other folks have acted like, I've never heard of a system like this. No, emphatically, all major all major advertising platforms have this. And it's just different when you're detecting it, after the fact. Okay. So, it is not the case that viewbotting, and so let's just talk for a second about how viewbotting impacts people. One, could it be that they're defrauding advertisers? The answer is, if we don't catch it, yes, but we work hard to catch it. And it's a separate system, and we feel very good about that system. Two is, it's absolutely the case when someone's doing it and then they're going to a sponsor, they are being duplicitous with that sponsor. Okay, which is one reason that concerns us. Number three is, to what degree does it inflate them in our discovery? Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about that, Mary, because first of all, over 50% of our users have their following tab and their homepage ranked through recommended for you. And this does not affect where you appear in recommended for you. ACCV is not a factor in recommended for you. The factor in recommended for you is your affinity to this streamer, other people, lots of factors. Okay. But for those people that, now, it's less than 50%, but there are those viewers that rank it high to low. Okay, and when you rank it high to low, if we have not detected the viewbots, that ends up being higher. I will say, though, that it is not a very effective way at really, over time, growing and sustaining growth. What we've seen from various of these folks, if you stream a fair amount and if you view a fair amount, you quickly realize you may not be interested in this streamer. And it actually doesn't work exceptionally well. It may work for a brief moment in time when the people that are coming don't know who you are and they might try you out. But when they decide that they don't like you, it doesn't work very well. Okay. So for those of you that are concerned that these folks are stealing viewers from you because of the ranking, well, certainly it's something I care about and keep an eye on. I do not think that is a major, factor. Okay, in terms of it's not very effective at that. All right, so Mary, I know I've touched on a lot.
You have.
Again, a pretty complicated topic.
Well, chat has a lot of questions, and so I'm glad that this has been something that sparked a lot of conversation. We're going to log all your questions and get to them at the end of Q&A, so keep them coming, especially if Dan didn't cover everything. But I'm going to move on to a couple other questions I have from other updates. These are soft updates because I don't think we have a bunch to share, but I know that there are a lot of people that are curious about what's going on with 2K and vertical video. So I just want to ask Dan if you have any updates for us regarding 2K and vertical video.
Yeah, so first of all, both of these things, and just for those who don't know, both of these are connected by something that's called enhanced broadcasting. Enhanced broadcasting is something that is part of OBS now. And it helps us in terms of doing transcodes on your client. And that is one way that we're providing 2K. We're still working on, we have 2K in an alpha right now, and there's still some problems that we're debugging. In particular, we found some problems with certain TV apps. And so we are not expanding the 2K beta and pushing the 2K beta until we solve. Now, this is not a large amount of viewership, but it's still a factor for a certain percentage of viewers. So we're working to figure out what the issue is, and we've actually now localized the issue, and we just have to work to improve that. So there are a number of things that we're also refining its ability to make sure it does a good job of detecting the resources on your computer so that it is not overburdening your computer in terms of your cycles that are available. So that is still progressing. We will be expanding that before too long. Now, this relates to vertical video because vertical video also builds on enhanced broadcasting. That went to alpha last week. I haven't streamed yet since it's gone to alpha, but I know it's on my channel, so I'm looking forward to stream soon so that I can test it out and see how that is working. Again, some of that is tied to enhanced broadcasting in terms of going in more on it. And so we're expecting to broaden that alpha in September so that it's more of a beta where we can start having people opt in and have more people try it, so that we can definitely launch that this fall. But I'm looking forward to it. I do, think that will be a great improvement for our viewers, but it's going to be critical to make sure it works seamlessly for streamers, because it only works if streamers can give us both a vertical and a landscape view of their stream.
I've had a couple streamers talk to me about wanting to get into the beta. In fact, Penguin in chat said, I applied day one and I haven't heard back. I'm really sorry that it's taking this long, but I'm telling you, there's a really good reason for it, which is when we've released it to the certain streamers that we had a lot of feedback, and we wanted to address that feedback before we opened it up to more people. We certainly don't want a giant pool of people to tell us the exact same problems or issues. And so we've learned a lot from the first round and second round, and there will be more rounds. So if you applied, you're still in. You don't need to do anything else. We're just going to get to you as we can, as we're navigating some of these issues. Because again, it's really important to us that you have the best experience possible. If we already know there's issues, we want to address those first before we open up the pool. So we'll get to you. Thank you for applying for the beta. I appreciate that.
And I'll answer one of the
Um,
questions. Somebody asked, why not just
sure.
edit the landscape version? I think it was Quack Kills, the landscape version on the server to come up with the a portrait version. And
Mhm.
of course, there's certain simple things, and at some point we might do this. The simplest one is if you're playing a game, can you detect where the person's camera is? And if you can detect where the person's camera is, can you just extract that square, put that at the bottom, put the game at the top, and have kind of a straightforward vertical video? That's certainly something in the future we might see, but that is a specific use case that I do think is fairly common. But if you move outside of that case where you have your face in the lower right or lower left-hand corner in a game, there's just so much variance, and there's nothing more annoying than us doing something that's smart that then is actually wrong for your stream, where you're not seeing the person talking, or and so that's why to start we want you to paint what that picture is. Twitch, both one of our strengths and one of our weaknesses, interestingly, is one of our strengths is you as a streamer have a great deal of control over the experience that your viewers have because you are creating it on your client. Now, of course, this makes it harder for us to make certain changes because you have so much control. But I do think in the end, many, if not most of our streamers do want to have control over what their viewers are seeing, as
Mm.
opposed to Twitch, figuring out what they think is best for them.
Okay, I think that's a really good place to start getting in right into Q&A because you're already starting to answer questions from our audience about things that are happening. And so I'm going to pop right on over to our Q&A tab. These are genuinely from you guys throughout the show. You can still ask them, just at some point we will cut them off because we have to end the show. But we'll try and get to as many of your questions as we can. For this episode, because I'm also trying out other new things, I also wanted to grab a question from user voice. I feel like we don't always touch on user voice questions all the time, but I had one that's connected to community work, which is talking about if we're able to feature more indigenous streamers. November is Native American Alaska Native Heritage Month. Do you have any plans to highlight or feature Native streamers? And so I just wanted to say that we are absolutely always looking at ways to highlight incredible creators from unique and diverse communities on Twitch. And I'm delighted to say that we will be doing something for Native American Heritage Month. And so I'm going to put a link in chat. Well, Twitch will, which is awesome because it makes it way more official. And if you're interested in being on this shelf, if you have to self-identify as Indigenous, you can fill out this form. It helps us find you so that we can add you to the shelf and for our marketing and events. I really do welcome feedback for ways that we can include more of these special moments that are obviously very important to you. And so we'll do our best to share these wonderful moments with you. So if you're interested, fill out the form. We do close it over time. So share it with people if you know anyone who's like, yes, I really, really, really want to be involved in that. I very much encourage you to fill out the form. Thank you.
And Mary, let me make this suggestion. In this, we
Yeah.
do have some of the questions with Monica's name, like we had suggested. Why don't we bring Monica back on, and we'll jump through
Start
the
with
questions.
Monica.
We'll start with, and
Yeah.
we'll jump through all the questions that we've tagged Monica in to be part of the conversation. Okay.
Brilliant.
Welcome back, Monica.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mary, why don't you go ahead and take the lead in reading off the questions?
Sure. So, Monica, this first question is from Desperado. Any plans to add custom power-ups? And there's a bit of a commentary here. I think it would be great to have a simple way for community to use bits and custom things. So any thoughts on custom power-ups?
It's a great question, one that came up a lot in Rotterdam at TwitchCon as well. We definitely do have plans to add custom power-ups. The team that will be working on that is heads down on combos right now. So we've got the combos beta running. They're working really hard to get that into more people's hands as soon as possible. I saw a question come through about combos as well. So know that the team will be working on custom power-ups soon enough. But in the meantime, they are full speed ahead on combos, and we're excited to get that into the hands of more streamers and their communities.
Yeah, so
Okay,
let's
great.
morph this, Mary, because we have that
Yeah.
other question further down about combos.
Are there plans to
Okay.
keep combos around and improve them? And this is from Jamie Renee. So we're kind of answering that right now.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yes.
Which, Monica, you kind of answered that, right? But I wanted to go ahead and mention the part of what we learned so they understand why, we haven't put our foot on the gas even more with combos, because I also really enjoy it when I'm streaming. And it's a great example of why we do experiments and then adapt. The biggest thing they need to make sure is the streamer is aware of what's happening. And this is a good example. Since we don't control what you see, it's tricky as a streamer, like what is sitting in front of you. And, I can tell you from firsthand experience with the combos, because of the combos, where I don't usually have my stream up when I'm streaming, right? I don't have a window with my live stream up. I do, it's in the background usually. I don't have it front and center because I don't need to see it, and it's delayed, which is a little awkward and all that. I use pop-out chat. But then you don't see the combo. And so the streamer wasn't able to say, yo, DJ, thanks for this. And the fun is having the streamer. I know I put it there so that I could get excited about the combo. So they're working on integrating that more effectively, and also more effectively in the activity feed. I think that is going out to the beta fairly soon. Currently people testing.
End of the month. Both of those.
Yeah, the end of the month. And I think that will, once we get that, I think that will allow us. But we really want to get product market fit, because the important thing is, if you launch something and it's not working, then people kind of go, oh yeah, I didn't like that. And then it's hard to get them to use it again. So that's why we test. That's why we fiddle. And while we are as anxious as you to get it out, we want to make sure we're feeling pretty good about it.
Fantastic.
All right, Mary, next question.
Let's do it. This is Kurt IRL asks, stream together and shared chat coming soon to iOS?
Yeah, so this is again something that we're working on, and it should be rolling out in September.
Easy. Well, there you go. No questions there. It sounds like we are doing it. And I think there is always the note to add as well, which is like, we always strive for parity between desktop and iOS. Whatever you're doing on a desktop, we want you to be able to do it on iOS, but it's nice to put an actual date to it. So being able to say, like, within the next month, yes, you're going to have that is awesome. So thanks, Monica. We're going to move on to Raven. By the way, how many bits are required for the September 2025 badge? Monica, this is another from our badge enthusiasts. We have a lot of people who love badges around here. And I did have someone be like, I don't have any badges. This is my first time to get a badge. Like, please help me prepare and make sure I actually get this badge. So what do they need to do?
Yeah, so to make the badge as accessible as possible, any spend or use of bits during September will get you that badge. So throw some bits at your favorite streamer.
Bit?
And I've been told that is what I've been told. I also went back and double checked that the badge is going to be different, because I panicked and was like, oh my gosh, I promised it was different. If it's not different, we got to do something different. It is different.
I was told by Monica on Patch Notes that I only needed 1 bit for a brand new badge, and that is the case. So it sounds like it's any commerce, any bit, any sub can get you this brand new badge. So participating means supporting your creator in any capacity. So
true participation. Although remember, I think some streamers may have minimums on bit spend. So keep that in mind. That is up to the streamer's discretion and out of our hands.
I do appreciate that. Yeah, there's minimums for me as well, because I don't want to be interrupted for 1 bit. The pay to play is a little higher on some people's channels. Okay, thank you. Let us move on to Grayly Rain. When will watch streaks be rolled out site-wide for all streamers to utilize?
Okay, so I'm not going to commit to a date, but I can promise we are going to have more to share on this very soon. And we know that many members of the community have been anxiously waiting for this to roll out to a wider audience. So it is coming, and we can't wait to share more.
Okay.
Yep. And the big thing we're working on is just how to keep your watch streak going in case somebody And we have I think we have a good solution for that in case someone streams it in on time, you miss it. That was a real big thing. I think we have a good solution for that.
Okay, there was
All
one
right.
more question for me that didn't make it into the sheet.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask that question, Monica. Would you fight in La Velada?
You know what? For the right amount of money, maybe. But I'm going to take this to mean that whoever asked this question feels like I could put up a good fight, and I appreciate you for seeing that in me. And I will likely politely decline for the foreseeable future, but I'm open to offers at this point.
All right, TwitchCon Velada. TwitchCon
It's
Velada.
money.
All
For
right.
the right price, I'll get punched in the face, honestly.
Maybe I've got a good bob and weed. Maybe I'll be doing the punch-in.
You don't know what I'm capable of. I'm a sicko.
That's right,
All
Mary.
right.
Please.
Thank you, Monica, for all of those answers and just kind of having some fun with us. If there's anything else that you do see that pops up later, come back on. But really enjoy having you, Monica. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mary, let me make this suggestion. There are a lot of questions here.
I know,
okay?
I saw them. Do you want to do your infamous? I'm just going to burn through these.
I'm going to burn. I think I'm going to start burning through. Some of them will be bigger, right? But as opposed to going back and forth with you asking and all that, I think I'm going to just try and burn through a bunch. Okay. So that way. All right, quick one. Mary, this is for you. Do you love roller coasters like me from Mega Ata plus HS?
Yes, I do. I'm from Ohio, and it's like the state has like more roller coasters than I think anywhere else. It's insane. I love roller coasters. Let's go.
Okay.
Next.
DJ Militia, when are team pages going to be mobile friendly and show up in the app? In general, I think there are a lot of ways we can improve teams. Something we've talked about internally. I think we have a good answer, but it's just about prioritizing with everything else that's going, because right now it's not central. But we will be getting back to improving teams at some point. But I don't have any timing on that yet. So right now, in terms of, I'm going to go ahead and answer a number of times we get a lot of TwitchCon questions. We'd love to be able to bring TwitchCon either in new countries or to new parts of the US. It's fairly complicated to run. And expensive. Right now we're on this where we sign a 3-year, we commit to a period, and then we make an evaluation. So I think we have 2 more years in San Diego, and then we'll evaluate what's next. And maybe not on the West Coast, we will see. Let's see, by Sergio Duava, is there a way to see what is the amount that will be charged when subscriptions continue renew? They're charged the same amount, so I'm not completely clear on what that is, because that's the amount of the subscription. So here's what really is just a request that, Mary, let's mark this so we bring it back to the team. Can we please let affiliates have a single lifetime sub for a bot to use our emotes? I know partners get 2, but us affiliates would appreciate saving the $6 a month for having a bot use our emotes. Please and thank you. Can you make sure we mark that? I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do something like that. Agreed.
Sure, I can mark that and send it to the product teams. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Focus. Fusconed. I hope I said that right.
Shiner G, how about going further back than 1 minute when creating a clip? Yes, I'd love to do that. I think there are a lot of other improvements we want to make on clips, but one of the things we're looking at is a little further back in time. Mary, this will be for you. Is there a place I can read the patch notes? I often miss these due to work, but would love to catch up. Mary.
So I think the best way for you to catch up is we actually always upload all of our episodes to our YouTube channel. And what's awesome about that is that they do have automatic captions on YouTube, and it's auto-translated to over 300 languages. It's just a good feature of the VOD system on YouTube. So what I would really encourage is for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is so funny for me to say. But maybe we can put the link in chat. I do know we actually have a link in our About section. We have one of our little bubbles in our About page. We'll link you to our YouTube channel. And every episode is always there. And in the description, we actually time every announcement so that you can quick link to where Dan is talking about whatever announcement in detail. And if you don't want to watch it, you can just read the description, because that will tell you it's essentially cliff notes of patch notes. It's a great way to scan for all the secrets that we said in patch notes if you don't want to watch it. So that's a fun tip and trick. Go to the YouTube channel and just read the description of the video.
All right. From Jamie Renee, can you talk about the Twitch Moderator Club? I just joined. It's really good. So I'll quickly, there is a Twitch Moderators Club. This is kind of built off our creator clubs, where we bring moderators together. We have a Discord for them. I'm sure if you search for a Twitch Moderators Club, you will see the link. So for those who are unaware of it, yes, I'm glad you brought that up. For those people who are really passionate moderators, please search for it. Sign up. I'm sure it's one of these things where they let people in, not all at once, because that's important for as you maintain.
I'm running the club. I can talk about it a little bit too, actually, in
Oh, you
detail,
can.
because
Okay,
we're
good.
yeah, we're
Go, Mary.
onboarding them right now. So we started onboarding mods to the mod club this month. After constructing the Discord space, there's some things that are important to know. We would love to have you. Please sign up. If you already have signed up, we will get to you over time. We are slow. We had 15,000 applicants, which is so awesome, and we love that. We're doing it 1,000 at a time because we don't want to have 12,000 people all saying hello at the same time. That sounds annoying. Anyway, when you apply, here's something I need you to know. You need to make sure that your Twitch username is connected on your Discord, because if you apply and say, my name is Modmaster3000, the Discord needs to match and it needs to be connected so that we can ensure that you actually are a moderator on Twitch. We are doing like a quick check to make sure that you're a mod on a channel and you've done a mod action. If you do that, then when we let you in, you will get in. So that's been our biggest issue right now, is that some people don't have that connected. So make sure your Discord is connected, but we are getting to you over time, and we're gonna do it as fast as humanly possible. Dan has told me, make sure all those mods get in there quickly, and it shouldn't take 2 years. And I agree with you. We're gonna try and burn through these 15,000 applicants, but it is taking time.
All right. Mary, what I'm going to do to make sure we get to all the P0 ones, I'm going to jump to them first. Okay?
Sure.
And then I'll go back.
You can sort it. Do you want to resort it, or?
No, it's
whatever.
easy to see. And I know I've tried the sorting before, and sometimes it messes things up. So
Okay.
from Spence, have you attempted to introduce AI into this viewbotting security? Yes, AI is a source of trying to figure out what is true and what is not. So, but we are that's only used because we're confident it's making. We don't let it go unconstrained and just say, "Oh, you figure it out," because it's something that's pretty important that we get it right. All right, let's see. So, Mary, you spoke about Native Spotlight. Can we see one for APAC, especially traditional Aboriginal content creators, for NADOIC Week? Used to be a thing. Last 2 years has been missed or overlooked.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to be able to always have these on a global scale. We actually have the same requests for things like Black History Month in the UK, which, as you know, is a different month than it is in America. We absolutely try and keep in consideration of all of the different people and regions when we have these events. What I will say is especially even if you are in the APAC region, I encourage you to use the same link that I put in chat for Indigenous Peoples Month, because that Indigenous shelf that we will put on the front page will not be limited to that month, if that makes sense. I'm going to try and say that again. If you are on the Indigenous shelf for Twitch, it can be surfaced on the front page all year round. That's like the beauty of the shelf system. So it does not have to be limited to when North America's Indigenous Peoples Day or month is, or Canada's, or APAC. And I think that's very important for us as we view these types of opportunities globally. So please still actually continue to use the form as you would no matter where you are globally. It just also helps us get a perspective for how many creators are interested in this type of work. And that's also very important because it starts small and it grows over time. Black History Month used to be 28 creators every month, if you can believe that, because I worked on that. And over time, we had so much enthusiasm that we grew it. So signing up, participating, and commentating like you are helps me recognize, like, yes, this is important. We need to grow it. So please sign up.
All right. I'm going to grab one that I saw here from Cam R. Hops. I'd love some advice on the best ways to support others in growing their audience. I really enjoy helping small streamers, but I feel there's only so much I can do on my own, especially hoping to help a streamer named Lilith who creates Minecraft, reach her goal of being an affiliate. Any suggestions I can contribute more effectively would be greatly appreciated. First of all, thanks for the work that you already do. To me, I think what I always say to smaller streamers, the biggest thing is to participate in different people's streams is critical as a member. The best way to grow your audience is to be a member of other communities. It sounds like Lilith probably is a member of yours, Camar Hops. And for me, the most important thing is always collaboration is the foundation and making connections. So the thing I'd say for them is get them to participate in a few other smaller channels. The mistakes people sometimes make is they go to 1,000 ACCV channel and they don't stand out. Find other, if you're trying to reach affiliate, I always use as a rule of thumb, like a 10x, and that's not a rigid one. If you're a 20 ACCV streamer, spend time in up to 200 ACCV, between 20 and 200 ACCV, so that they get to know you, and try to collaborate. Right, find other people. That for me is a huge part of growing on Twitch. So thanks for that question. Let's see. Will there be a way to prevent people from using the same phone number to make multiple Twitch accounts to harass streamers? We use the phone verification so that when someone is banned from the site, let me be clear, from the site, not from the channel, okay, then that applies across all of it. It's a user-centered thing, not a account-centered thing. So if they have multiple accounts, it applies to all their accounts. Now you do raise a good suggestion question, which is, what if they get banned from the channel and they have multiple accounts associated with the same phone number? Is there a way to make sure that this individual can't just come back and harass you? So Mary, let's mark that as one of the things that we bring back. It could be even one of the options that you make when you have, but I think that's a good suggestion.
Okay.
All right. Let me go back up to the top, and we've probably got about another 15 minutes or so, right, Mary? Or so?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
I think at the half of after we should probably call it. So yeah.
Yeah, or maybe before. I was thinking a little before. So I was thinking like, somewhere around 3:20-ish or so, and we may go over a little
Knock them out. Knock as many as you can out, Dan.
Okay. Let's see. Let me just see. Segu Juve, if we lurk in 2 or more channels, does that count? First of all, I don't want to get into the details of when it doesn't zero you out. We always are counting you. Okay. I don't want to tell you exactly how many and when it gets discounted. You can watch more than one and it still counts as a full one on both on those. I don't want to say when we determine, because then everyone's going to be, oh, no, I'm going to do this. If you're watching 3 channels, because you're really watching 3 channels, then watch 3 channels. If what you're trying to do is get somebody a view count and you're not watching them, okay, but what you're trying to do is get them, then probably don't do that, right? In other words, it's not as effective. But if you're really watching 3 channels, watch 3 channels, because we do know sometimes people are staying engaged and watching multiple channels, and you should be counting in that. And in general, our algorithm does try to take that into account. When will coming AVI codecs for 2K and 4K streaming on Twitch and higher bit rates? So PID27, first of all, as you probably know, we did raise the bit rate as part of enhanced broadcasting. We're continuing to look at that, whether or not we have the right bit rate or not. And so there may be more there. AVI is probably a little, AV1 rather, sorry, is a little further down the pike. We want to get HEVC really working well first. And that's because a lot more people can decode HEVC, where the reality is a small portion, like about 20% of Twitch viewers can effectively use AV1. So HEVC is a higher priority for us right now, because that's where we'll have the biggest impact. Let's see. Okay. When is Twitch Studio going to come back? It's not. I don't think us building the streaming app, the reality is open source has done a great deal there. There are a number of folks out there. we're not going to get people to switch over. And I know I can tell you, I use OBS. We'd rather make it simpler for people to use OBS. That would be great. Okay.
Or stream for their phone and things like that
Yeah,
too. I
not
think
just
ultimately
OBS.
our goal was
Slobs,
always just to make streaming easier. And so if those other services are doing it, then there's no need for us to do it.
There are a lot of services out there. Meld is out there. Again, Streamlabs does this. Stream Elements does this. And we really support, I shouldn't mention just OBS, because there are a lot of folks that are innovating in that space. And in general, we feel like we aren't trying to compete with them. We're trying to support them and enhance them. Can you debunk the whole mute the player versus mute the tab view theory once and for all? Mr. NY2 Cali, I know some of this is confusion about, does muting not count? But if you're watching the stream, even if you're muted, you can still be counted. But we do take a lot of factors into consideration. Okay, but just muting the stream does not mean that you are not counted. Let's see. Sometimes clip making fails when clips don't permanently save, and it seems there are times this is because of things Twitch restricts, such as copyright music. Where's the music is? I don't think, do you know anything about this? I've experienced sometimes the clip creation failing. I think this is more the clip creation failing, and it's something we have to work on the bug. It's not because of copyrighted music. Let's see. They said, is Twitch legal ever going to go after viewbot providers? It's something we always look at and consider to see if we think we can effectively use that as a tool. We've done it in the past. There's a lot of complexities in doing it, and it isn't always a very scalable thing, but it's something I always look at. What, instead of counting viewers, you guys counted subscribers? Hardly anyone would be willing to pay money for subscriber accounts. That's because people want to know viewers, right? It's like, that's what they want to see. I am curious, what is the best way to engage in my small niche retro video games if I have been trying to evolve my stream over the years? So Charlie Coleslaw, a couple things. And I know someone else asked about categories, about non-gaming categories. I forget that. I saw it. I want to answer it. First of all, my suggestion is you got to do something you love. You spend a lot of time streaming. If what you love playing is a niche game, then play a niche game. Okay. However, in general, as you're trying to build your audience, diversity is often really powerful as you do more different things because for different people, because really who they're coming to see is you. Also in the question that I know someone came up with about having more categories in non-gaming, in general, as we create more categories, people generally like to go in the bigger categories. So I have a few ideas how to solve this problem, because the challenge is you want to be able to, break more details, but oftentimes people don't use them because it doesn't drive as much viewership. So making a lot of small non-gaming, in general, categories are not a great tool for non-gaming. They're a great tool for gaming. If you're playing Fortnite, the one thing I know you're not doing is you're not playing Apex, okay? And you're not playing COD. So one and only one category works. The problem is you may be just chatting, and you may be chatting about art, and then you may be chatting about music, and you may be knitting. And while you're knitting, you also may be painting. So outside of gaming, categories tend to not be a great way for discovery. Are you going to bring back host mode? A lot of folks ask that. It is, I'm not saying we are going to bring back host mode. It is something I keep looking at the need that it met and how we can continue to meet those need in an appropriate way to serve that need. I'm signed in on my television.
I also just want to say, sorry, one of the reasons we talked about it, because I loved host mode, but one of the reasons we said it wasn't always the best fit was because when you were hosting someone, people who were in chat weren't having the best experience, because the best experience is on the streamer's channel where they can get chat, not the host channel where you're getting like a subpar chat experience. And so that was like one of the reasons I remember we initially discussed that it wasn't giving people like the right first impression, especially if it was their first time on Twitch. You wouldn't want to be on a host channel. You'd want to be on the main person's channel.
Yeah. By the way, I want to call out a comment that someone made. Sir 87 said, I think it was Sir we're all more alike than we know. Feels pretty cool with so many awesome folks. I think one of the challenges in today's world is we accentuate our differences rather than our similarities. This is true across today's society. And I love your comments, Sir 87. Um, we all have far more in common than we have differences. Too often, today's online media world, we accentuate the differences as opposed to look for the commonalities. I think that's one of the great thing about Twitch. I'm glad you said that because I do think we all have far more in common than we have disagreements, and we all need to acknowledge that. So let's see. Okay. Someone was asking about if I signed into my television, do I count as a viewer if I'm also watching on my phone? So I'm not going to tell you how the system works. In a perfect world, the system would say you're one person. What ACCV is trying to detect is how many people are watching, right? Not how many devices are watching. Now, we can't always do that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you how the system works in that. To be honest, I'm not sure how the system works in that sort of thing. But in a perfect world, you're one person. That's what we're trying to detect. Also, I will note we are trying to detect people. In other words, bots and what I'll call is non-view bots. There are lots of bots. Okay, those aren't people. Okay, those are bots that chat bots and other things that may be there for legitimate purposes. And so we try not to count bots because ACCV is supposed to represent a viewer. Final comment that I want to say to that I realized I didn't say before. It is absolutely the case that there are what I'll call non-purchased bots that are out there on the internet. Meaning just because somebody has bots on their channel, it does not mean they paid for it, right? First of all, there are crawl bots that are crawling around. There's all sorts of stuff that is happening on the web, okay? It may be for some of you, you did have some bots on your channel for whatever reason, because they're looking around, they're doing this, they're doing that. And we try to detect them, even though they're not intended to inflate your view count. It's still a bot, it's not a person. So what we try to do is detect people that are watching your stream. Let's see. So DJ All Love, my friend does not have a Twitch account. He says that when he searches for my channel while I'm streaming, it does not come up. As soon as I stop streaming, he can find my channel. That sounds like a bug. I want to note that to see if we can replicate it. I have not encountered that, but I'll try that with some small streamers, see if I can replicate it. A lot of times you can get these small things that if you can't replicate it, it's hard to isolate. And it may also not be true. They may have been making a mistake in the search, but that is not the way it works. In fact, if anything, the problem is the inverse that I think sometimes we need to look at. Someone searches for a channel, they're not live. And so we show you a bunch of folks that's live. When it's like, no, I want this channel, put it right at the top. Why are you showing me all these other live channels? So if anything, if we have an error, it's that too often we bias towards live versus I gave you the name of the channel, show me the channel, I want to follow the person. And so I think that's one thing we can keep working on. Someone says, someone asked about any updates and plans for APAC. 8-Bit Elliot, first of all, I'm glad you're watching. Welcome. I think we have a lot of activities in APAC. Of course, we have Tokyo Game Show coming out. I actually was planning on going to that and looking forward to it. Unfortunately, another scheduling conflict that I did not control came up. I'm still going to be trying to get out there, and if not, I'll be getting back out there. But we've been doing a number of Twitch Connects with, I don't remember the exact dates. I think we did one in Taiwan. We've done them in Australia. We've done them in a number of regions in APAC. We're going to have a number of people at Tokyo Game Show. So thanks for bringing it up.
I just wanted to pop in and just say Twitch Connects are something where we kind of invite people and talk to them, especially creators. But something that we're also putting more active effort into is our meetups program. We did just launch our first meetup in Tokyo. We're very proud of it. And we will be going to Tokyo Game Show this year, as Dan said. In fact, Dan, it's a bummer you're not going because I think I'm going to be heading
I'm still
there for the
trying,
meetup
to be
program.
honest. This is
I would
an
like you to go.
organizational review. I hope it gets canceled, and then I can adjust my schedule
I
and
hope it
get
gets
out there.
I hope it gets canceled too. So I'm just gonna put this in here. I suspect 8-Bit Elliot knows about this, but for anyone else who doesn't, if you go to meetups.twitch.tv, I just threw a link in chat. You will go to our official meetups site. These are meetups that are run by Twitch enthusiasts, volunteers, gamers just like you. And Twitch usually pluses them up during awesome, like high-end moments. So for TGS, we'll be sponsoring the Tokyo meetup. You can meet other gamers there. You can meet other people who just like love the same streamers as you there. And they're usually free or like a really low ability to get in, like a really low fee to get in if you want to, with drinks and ways to like meet other people. And the coolest part about the meetups program is that it's all connected to your username. So you can feel safe going because you know that if somebody does misbehave, not only can we remove them from the event, we can take action on their account, which I think is very important when we're talking about safety in IRL spaces. So for APAC, please check out the meetups program. I mean, heck, actually not APAC, in anywhere. We will put meetups all over the world. We love them. We have over, I think, 56 meetups in different countries. If you don't see a meetup on that site, you could be the meetup organizer for your city, your country. We would love to have you. You can find out more information on meetups.twitch.tv. Yeah, Grayly, I love this program like with my whole heart. It's so fun. In fact, this is another great time for me to plug that if you live in the Seattle area or if you're a Pacific Northwest person like I am and you're planning on going to PAX West, there is a meetup in Seattle and we are sponsoring it. Go to meetups.twitch.tv and check out the
What is the
SOBA
date
meetup.
on that again, Mary? What is the
It's
date
next
on that?
Thursday and I'm going. It's awesome. It's basically the day right before PAX like starts because isn't PAX like 5 days now? It's insane. But it's I'll put the link in chat. It's like essentially the Thursday as Twitch starts. It's run by these awesome people. They do such a good job.
Yeah, no, I was there a
Again,
couple of years ago. They do a
I
great
know
job.
you've done it. We've done live streams from Soba. We've done there's usually drinks and snackies for everybody. But anyway, here is my like final plug to you to go to meetups.twitch.tv to find local Twitch events. They are supported by Twitch. We send swag. You can get like exclusive Twitch items and branded stuff if you go to those meetups. It's super worth going. So please check it out.
All right. Let's see. Is there any plans to change the listings on prohibited songs DJs are allowed to play on? Before the DJ program, this was not an issue. Vinyl Richie, we actually are always trying to work to get particular creators off of that list. I can tell you there are a number of ones that are on there that we have some movement slowly to get them eliminated from the list. The existence of the list we can't get rid of because usually most of the folks on that list also don't allow their songs on streaming platforms and other platforms. And so it's critical to respect the wishes of those songwriters that say they do not want their music used. And as creators, as every single one of you are creators, I think I understand how that can be frustrating. But then if you understand the reason it's there is because that creator or their representative, and usually it's that creator or their family, for whatever reason, does not want their song used. And it's usually on other digital streaming platforms as well. It's not just about Twitch. It's important to respect their wishes. Is there a way to promote clips better than a main page section for maybe people who don't want to watch an entire stream for funny moments? People may decide to go to Twitch for clips instead of TikTok. So Cray J, Bay, we're continually looking at ways to try and leverage clips. I do think it's a good form of discovery. Right now, I'll tell you, current thinking is, I think there are really two use cases. One is for those communities that you're a member of, you want to catch up because you missed a stream. We are trying to work to get a lot more clips shared in stories, so that can become a great catch up. Oh, I missed a stream. Hey, what happened yesterday? Okay. Watch streaks is going to be part of this because one of the ways that you will be able to keep a watch streak going is to watch a clip or a VOD if you miss the stream. So I know somebody else asked the question about, can it be just based on the viewer, not the streamer? part of the idea is those people that are always there, but we know sometimes you can't make it. You won't be able to increment your streak, but it doesn't break the streak. And so hopefully this will encourage more streamers to share clips right after a stream, so that then for those people that missed it, they can go. And there are two ways. One is sometimes you want to watch streams of those clips of those creators you miss. The other one is you just want to watch the best clips on Twitch. And that's what our clips feed is for. And we're going to work on that also on desktop, so that there's kind of options for that as well. But thank you for that note. And right now it's 3:25, Mary.
Yes,
So
I think we're pretty much at the end. If there's anything else where you're like, hey, I got to answer this last one, we'll do one more. But then I think we got to go. We got to
actually,
move
let me
on.
do this. I had grabbed some that I haven't gone through. So let me just look. People will have up to 50 lurkers in their channel coming from L4L Discord. Something needs to be done about this. Still fake engagement. I think this person is talking about people that are connected in chat but aren't viewing the channel. Okay. And so if people are connected in chat and not viewing the channel, that does not count as a view count. Okay. So we do not do that. Let's see.
And with that, anything else?
No, I think we've covered a lot. Okay.
Okay. Then we're going to move on to our last section. Thank you all for making it this far and for asking all those questions. We're also going to just showcase the TwitchCon San Diego schedule because it did drop since our last episode. And if you haven't seen it yet, we'll also put a link in chat for tickets in case you're interested in looking. There's a lot of really amazing things going on in this stage, including, Dan, your keynote, which will be at the very top of the show, essentially like as we open doors. Everybody kind of clamors in to the big opening ceremony where we launch TwitchCon and you give some good updates. And the keynote will return this year.
Yeah. So looking forward to it, Mary.
Oh my God. I look forward to it every year. It's like, I'm a bit of a freak about it. I really like TwitchCon. I love seeing a lot of my friends that I don't get to see outside of TwitchCon. I usually see them every year at TwitchCon. So it's a big win for me. You will obviously always see me at the Glitch Theater because the team works so hard to make really fun shows on Glitch. And we will have lots of surprises coming up, but there's some really good stuff on there that I hope you can check out, like the drag show, which always returns. We're bringing back cosplay, and that is going to be so much fun. We're bringing back Between Two Queens. That will be really good. We will obviously have our Unity Lounge. In case anyone does not know, we do have our Unity Club or guilds where if you identify, you can join one of our guilds, but the Unity Lounge is literally for everyone. Everybody is welcome at the Unity Lounge. You can hang out, meet some of our guild leaders, and learn about what we're doing for underrepresented groups in the space. It's a wonderful place to be. What are you looking forward to, Dan?
Well, first of all, I'm watching it scroll and I'm just overwhelmed. There's so much good stuff. Well, I can't pick one. No, I can't pick one. I will tell you, I'm looking forward to the block party. I think that is always a blast. I don't know if it's on the schedule right now, but as always, I always enjoy getting a bunch of Twitch musician streamers, and we try to close it on the Kappa stage, which I think we'll do again. The partner party is always great, and just in general, the highlight is always getting to meet and spend time with all the streamers of all different sizes, and that's always. That's always a highlight for me.
It is. It's a wonderful experience, and it really, you have to kind of see it to believe it. I always say, like, that is the kind of thing that converts you, and you go to a TwitchCon and you get to see all these wonderful people that you may have seen online and you know their usernames, but you've never actually met them. It's incredible, and it's really special. And there's lots of fun surprises this year. As always, we'll have lots of crazy things for you to collect, to get. We'll have some swag. We'll have drops. There's going to be really cool stuff for every person who goes to TwitchCon. I hope I see you there. The link is in chat to go to twitchcon.com/San Diego 2025 tickets and get your ticket now.
Mary, before you, a few folks have been posting. I've just seen asking about clarity about the multi-streaming.
Sure.
Look,
throw it in there.
Sometimes you get into the letter of the law, and people like to parse the letter of the law. Look, multi-streaming isn't a problem. Okay. Having links to other streaming platforms, not a problem. Okay.
Mm.
We don't want you to be using Twitch to drive traffic to other live streaming platforms. Okay. That's the high level rule. If not, then don't worry about it. If what you're doing is, we want you, if you're streaming on Twitch, it's to service your Twitch community, right? So do not get nervous about any of the requirements. If what you're doing is trying to reach your Twitch community on Twitch, you have nothing to worry about. If what you're doing is trying to use Twitch to not service your community on Twitch, then that is not why we have a multi-streaming. I think, in general, we've been very supportive of this. This is not different. Use it to service that community and to support that community, which we love. So don't worry about any of the regulations if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter about that as well. So it is nice to clarify. We had a lot of people being like, I like to stream on Instagram too. And it's like, I actually have also tested that out. I got those new like Meta glasses and I was testing it out and streaming on other platforms.
Yeah,
We're not trying to
that's
punish you for
fine.
that
You're
kind of
just
stuff. Go
saying,
live
oh,
on
I
other
happen.
places.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing this right now. You're not saying stop watching me here. It's pretty clear. So, having links, that just use that. If your intent is then you don't have anything to worry about whatsoever. Okay. There's nothing to be anxious about. We think you should be reaching your community and servicing the Twitch community. All right.
Cool.
So
Thank
Mary,
you. Yes.
This has been great.
It has been
Thanks
great.
a ton.
We're going to I appreciate it. I appreciate your time to answer so many community questions as you always do. And I appreciate all of you guys in the community interacting with the stream, being involved. I'm just going to say, please, 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 if you don't already, follow the channel because then you'll get pinged to know when we have updates and things like that. I had so many people in chat be like, how am I supposed to know when you guys are releasing a badge? Follow the channel. That is a great place so that you can get updates and notifications when Twitch goes live with updates for you about Twitch. So that is what I encourage you to do. And with that, we are going to raid Cinna, who you can find at TwitchCon. If you like Cinna's content, she's so cute and she's lovely. You will get to see her hanging out at TwitchCon, on the theaters, on the big screen. So that is what I recommend. Dan, anything last from you before we head out?
Nothing. Thanks, Mary, for a great patch notes, and looking forward to a lot of the stuff we have coming out.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to more shows, and I'll see you all on Tuesday, because not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, September 2nd, we'll be doing our big September stream with lots of gift subs to creators, all episode long. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Have a good day.